week. So one of the strategies that's working well, regardless of mediums, I do have to kind of step back for a quick second. Regardless of mediums, regardless of social media, regardless of direct mail, regardless of open houses, any strategy that has to do with lead generation, regardless of that, what's important here is understanding where we are in time, meaning where we are from a real estate market perspective and who we're speaking to and what's going to be value to them. So what does that mean? That means that right now, there's been several months of a cool down in terms of prices in many markets are going down. In some places, it's going down much faster. In other places, not as much. So I've noticed here in the last 3 months or so, even just in these last 3 months, from a macro perspective, looking at all of the cities in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex here specifically to my market, it's rapidly accelerated. The average rise in the last 12 months was 25.5% in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But now the gains are being given back. So now that sharp curve has started to hump over, it started to crest over. So what that lets us know very clearly is that prices are coming down. So there's a lot of homeowners that are or were at one point considering selling, and they're thinking back to the time when they would be able to command multiple offers, but that's no longer the case in many markets. Right now, things are starting to cool off. People are the listings are starting to stay on the market a little bit longer. So we need to understand that for our homeowners in order to execute the strategy that we're going to cover today. So without further ado, the strategy that we're going to look at is offering seller net sheets to our sphere and also offering it to any paid advertising that we do. So the strategy is very simple. We're showing people the math on what it would look like if they were to sell their house today. So I'm going to share my screen so you see exactly what I'm talking about, and I'll also drop it in the chat. So feel free to use this as your value proposition to your community. So in the chat, I dropped a Google sheet or a spreadsheet where people are able to input their sales price, the loan that they have, the taxes, and everything else. So the same equation that your title company would have, you're able to provide to your homeowners. So everybody, let me make sure, does everybody know what a seller net sheet is? I don't want to make an assumption that everybody does. But essentially, it's seller net sheet just on a macro perspective is the calculation or just all of the factors that go into the sale of a property minus all of the expenses, the debt, the taxes, title expense, commissions, anything that's going to affect the bottom line. So in many markets, in many states, you're actually required to provide a seller net sheet to your clients. So what that means is you should have this already. If you don't, you're welcome. I guess now you do. But this is a strategy not only to service your clients, this is a strategy to generate more listings, generate more up-at-bats. So let's talk about ways to apply this. Let's talk about different lead generation strategies because that's what we're talking about today, acquisition, generating more business. So one way is, how many of you are you doing video right now? If you want to drop in the chat or raise your hand. I see Betty with her hand up. We see Stephanie. We have Miss Payne. So we have Eric. We have Louise. We have a good portion of you are doing video. Our first strategy. So we have a good amount of you doing video. So that's awesome. A strategy that I would implore you to deploy right now in the place that we're in the real estate space, if you will, is to create a video Doesn't matter if it's long form, doesn't matter if it's short form. I would encourage you to do both because that's what we do, but it's up to you. If you're going to do long form, great. If you're going to do short form, great. But create a video around that spreadsheet that I just sent you. So what you're doing is you're sharing with people exactly how to navigate it. So it would be something as simple. I'll share my screen so you see how simple it is. It would be something so simple as to do the screen share that you're seeing right now and walking people through the calculation. So showing it to you in real time, what I would do is I would create a short form video that I would put on YouTube Shorts. I would put on TikTok. I would put on Instagram Reels. I would put on Facebook Reels. In fact, I've done that and I did that several months ago. And this was actually my most viewed video on all the platforms. On YouTube, I think it's up to 500,000 views, tons and tons of comments. On TikTok, I think it's like 300,000 or 400,000. I don't remember exactly. And then Instagram and Facebook, I think it was like 250,000 views a piece as well. So it was very, very simple. All I did was just show people, and this actually might even be the same calculation, but sharing with people, hey, if you sold your house for $400,000 and if you owed $100,000 on that, if you still owed 100,000 and your taxes last year were $12,000, just using this as an example, that means that your monthly is this. So if you sold your house in March, let's say, you would be responsible for 3 months worth of taxes. So that's the number that would be factored in. If you're using a real estate agent, you would put in the listing commission, title fees that are appropriate to your specific situation. And some of you are in places where you close with a attorney. So you would replace title with attorney. Any HOA fees, any surveys, home warranties, and I included repairs and moving costs. Most SellerNet sheets don't, but I took it one step beyond that so you can provide value to your people. But again, the important thing here is you're providing something valuable to the people that are going to watch this. And the dismount, aka how you actually generate business, is that call to action that you do within that video. Is this making sense so far?
Yes, I just went to the website to look for that short to see how you actually did it so fast in like a minute or so.
It has to go so fast, Betty. So you're gonna need to cut it. So it's with shorts, the beauty of shorts, you don't have to tell the entire story. You just have to pique the interest. So you have what you say in the video as one way to communicate, what you show in the video as another enhancer to what you're trying to convey, and you have the description, like what you put below it, as another way to communicate. But even those three mediums, again, what you say, what you show, and what you write, you're not going to be able to tell the entire story because it's impossible. That's when you invite people, again, going back to the call to action, that's when you invite people into your DMs. That's when you invite people to text calculator to 940-395-3321, right? So inviting people to text you, that's the big hack right now, inviting people to send you a message via text, because when they do that, they're texting you from their real phone number. If you send them to a landing page, I'm not saying that's not going to work. I'm just saying that that's an additional step. That's additional friction that we don't have to do any longer.
So what you say, if you want to get this calculator, text me and I drop it. How do you say it? That's what you give your number, and it's like, if you want to get this calculator, text me at 305.
Yeah. If you want to run your own numbers, text calculator to, and then you give either your cell phone number or not everybody has KV Core, which KV Core has a smartphone number. I recognize that. But if you have a smart system like KV Core that has a smartphone number, you can do that directly through KV Core. If you don't have KV Core, that you don't need KV Core, you can send them directly to your cell phone number. Again, I don't recommend it in the event that it goes super viral, but I would recommend you get an automated service that would be able to handle that for you. Or if you don't want to do it via a phone number, you can invite people to text me, or email me, and then give your email address at that point. The important thing here is you're providing the value in this. It's more of a convenience than anything. Once people find enough interest in running their own numbers, they're going to find a way to contact you. You can invite them to DM you. Hey, just DM me calculator and I'll get this to you so you can run your own numbers. Email me at admin@jaimeresendez.com. I'll get this to you. Text me and then give the phone number that you want to give in that particular setting.